A fallacy is defined as a failure to reason properly. We're going to talk about all that and more coming right up. Hey, I'm Matt. This is Truth Snack, a channel where I'm going on a journey to discuss what matters and inviting you to come along with me. You know, logic and reasoning are powerful tools for discovering knowledge, but it's easy for us to use those tools poorly because we hear them misused every day. So today we're going to talk about 4 logical fallacies we hear and maybe even use daily. Fallacy number 1, ad hominem, which means to attack the person rather than their ideas. This is a classic in politics. Often politicians want you to think that their opponent is immature or selfish or greedy, and for you to conclude that therefore their policies are bad policies. However, you can imagine that someone might be a horrible person. They might not even like cute little puppies, but they might still have good ideas when it comes to the economy. You see, just because someone has a poor character, that isn't enough to conclude that what they're saying is false. Fallacy number 2, appeal to authority. That's trusting someone as an authority who isn't one. Let's be clear, it's a good thing to consult experts. They've looked at the evidence and the arguments in ways that we just simply haven't had time for. But the danger is in thinking that because someone is an expert in one field, that makes them an expert in all fields. But that obviously isn't true. Scientists aren't experts at philosophy, and philosophers aren't experts at math. We need to make sure when we're consulting an authority that they're an authority in the same field as our question. Fallacy number 3 is the straw man fallacy, which is refuting a distortion of your opponent's argument rather than their actual argument. As you can imagine, it's a lot easier to knock down a straw man than it is to knock down a person made out of flesh and bones. And that's just what's going on in the straw man fallacy. Imagine 2 people who are arguing over whether to put up the Christmas tree this weekend or next weekend. And they both have legitimate concerns about whether they'll have time in their schedule. But the person who wants to set up the Christmas tree earlier says, "I can't believe that you're anti-holiday, that you're against celebrating Christmas." Well, that'd be a great example of them swapping out their opponent's genuine concern for something that's a lot easier to refute. The danger of the straw man fallacy is that we can do it and not even realize we're doing it. That's why it's so important for us to properly understand other people's perspectives as we're representing them. And fallacy number 4, chronological snobbery, which is the belief that new ideas are better than old ideas. It's easy for us to think that new means improved because we literally hear the phrase new and improved all the time. But a statement is true if it accurately reflects reality, and that's independent of whether the idea is new or old. I commit chronological snobbery all the time when choosing a movie. I tend to think that the new release is always going to be better than the old black and white movie, but that simply isn't the case. Movies, like truth statements, need to be assessed individually and independent of how old they are. By no means are these all the logical fallacies there are. There are many more. But if we're going to use logic and reasoning for the powerful tool that it is in discovering knowledge, then we have to be willing to slow down and actually sharpen our thinking. So here's today's question. How might the 4 fallacies that we discussed today influence you while forming your worldview? If you haven't checked out Truth Snack's series on worldview, click the iCard that just popped up and begin answering life's deepest questions on origin, meaning, morality, and destiny. And don't forget to tune in next Tuesday. We'll continue to discuss what matters. I hope to see you then.